The 2022 season has been a season to forget for the Silver Arrows. The team went from dominating over their competitors right at the start of each season to now panicking to even get a race win under their belts before the season officially ends. So how will the team up their chances of taking the top step of the podium in these remaining races? Does the team plan on sticking to their concept design for next season? Well, let's talk about it then. But before we do, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on our latest uploads. Now that's out of the way, let's get started. 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton has never finished a single season without a single race win in his 15 years of racing in F1. However, that streak may come to an end now as Mercedes is still winless with only 4 races left in the season. Both he and his teammate George Russell have struggled all season long with their W13. However, the team is hoping their final set of upgrades this season will do 2 things. A, help them decide which direction to take next season, and B, give Lewis, and George for that matter, the best chance to win a race before the season's end. It's the last step of our aerodynamic development. Hopefully, it will bring some more performance, but importantly, with every step, we're learning more and more, and that learning we can carry on into next year, said Chauvelin. That's part of it. Also, there is a few bits where we've taken the weight out of components that will hopefully get the car closer to the weight limit. It's very difficult for us to predict where we're going to be. Both George and Lewis will hope that these upgrades will have similar effects to the major developments Mercedes displayed, both at Barcelona and Silverstone, where the team had their best chances of winning a race. After the coming race this weekend in the US, the team will still have 3 chances left in Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi to make a late-season push for a race win. Another thing the team has cost Lewis this season is a chance to get payback for his upset loss to Red Bull's Max Verstappen last season. Many Mercedes fans were excited coming into this season to see just how hungry and determined Lewis would be to win his 8th world title. But now that Max has just officially won his 2nd title in a row last weekend at Suzuka, former F1 driver turned pundit Johnny Herbert believes that things will only get worse for Lewis. He, Verstappen, has built that whole team around him, Herbert told Sky Sports. They think and believe he is the best ever. I remember Michael Schumacher, it's the exact same situation, and he just gets stronger and stronger. That's the terrifying thing for anyone who wants to try and beat him. But surprisingly, Alpine's Fernando Alonso would come to Lewis's defense by stating an achievement he thinks not every F1 champion could say. In F1, every single season he's been very competitive, apart from 1 or 2 with Jenson Button when he had some issues. He was able to win with a dominant car, with a good car like 2010 or 2012, or with bad cars like 2009 and 2011. Not all the champions can say that. But as mentioned earlier, these upgrades are a part of a bigger picture for the team as they now start to fill in the puzzle that is the 2023 season. To turn the ship in this industry is a little bit like an oil tanker, remarked Wolff. First, you have to understand what the root cause is for your non-performance, and then you have to peel the skin. What is the first layer? What is the second layer? Are we really on top of all the questions? The answer is no, we are not. But I think a big chunk of the performance that we are missing, we have discovered. It is not something we can change this year. It is decisions that we have made for next year, but I am not 100% confident to say here that next year we will be fighting for world championships. The aim is, the expectation is, but there is still work to do. George Russell would be asked about what the team has learned about this car from this season and whether or not they have a concrete decision for next season. I don't want to go into too much detail because it's something that we've worked very hard on to understand, and hopefully will give us an advantage into next year, so I don't want to say anything that will potentially benefit our rivals, said Russell. But at the end of the day, every single car is different. I have to say I mentioned a couple of times this year that I thought we understood our car and were on the right track, but we have been set back with a couple of issues that we weren't expecting. "The team morale is pretty strong, considering the success it has gone through," said Russell. "We, Russell and Hamilton, are working hard to keep everybody motivated. But the team doesn't need much motivation because they're not happy with finishing where we are. They're all winners, and they all want to get back to winning ways. It's data-driven, to be honest. We do a lot of analysis on the races we've been competitive, the races we've been slow, and trying to understand why that was. I think we've managed to gain quite a grasp onto that and understand why at certain circuits we were so much more competitive than others. We've only managed to learn that over the course of these races, and I think that triple header after the summer break was quite telling for us, with our performance between the low downforce and high downforce circuits." Many of the W13's problems stemmed from the porpoising and drag that the car and their drivers had to deal with. But Russell would say with full confidence that the team's porpoising issues are way behind them, and that it won't be a hindrance to their performance next season. "I think we've had enough races now that we've gone through so many different scenarios, I can't really imagine there's going to be another one that catches us by surprise," said Russell. "We've had the porpoising issues, we've had the ride issues, we've had the car touching the ground and damaging the floor, we've had so many different issues, and we believe now that we've got a direction that we need to head in." To add to Lewis's streak, this season will also be the first season Toto Wolff isn't raising the Constructors' Championship trophy. Since Toto's arrival to the team in 2013, the Mercedes team boss has had the privilege of having the best car on the grid. In a recent interview, Toto would share how it feels now that they're hunters rather than being hunted. "We've talked about over the last few years every series ends one day. There is no team in any sport that is winning every single championship over its lifetime. And that has happened," he said. "It has happened because we got the physics wrong. There's nothing mystical about it, suddenly. We have great people, equipment, infrastructure, financial resource. In terms of losing, I think it's important to acknowledge that we just haven't done a good enough job, and the guys over in Milton Keynes and Maranello have done. Ferrari, in my opinion, was, until the summer break, the quickest car, but they haven't been able to translate that into points. We are third on the road. It's not misery, it's still respectable, because we could have come out further back. But now we just need to sort it out. We are eager to be part of the very front fighting for race wins and fighting for a championship. There is no sense of entitlement for us to win every single championship, because that would be foolish." And there you have it, guys. So will Lewis and George pull off a miracle and win a race before the season ends? Will they figure it out over the winter break to come back strong for next season? Let us know in the comments section below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't.